Take your revenge, if you can.
She thought that was the moment she had finally broken her. She had no idea who she had just humiliated.
Everyone in that hallway saw Maya Carter fall, but nobody knew what it had taken for her to stand there in the first place. Maya moved slowly through the crowded college hallway, carefully placing one crutch after another. Tap, step, she kept her eyes down. She had learned that walking slowly made people stare, and lately she had become very good at pretending she didn't notice. She was 21 years old, a college student with dreams that had once felt completely ordinary. She wanted to graduate, she wanted to travel, she wanted to build a career. She wanted to live the kind of life where she never had to think about whether her body could keep up with everyone else. But 6 months earlier, everything had changed, and now every step reminded her of it. Maya adjusted the strap of her backpack and continued down the hallway. She could hear conversations around her, laughter, footsteps, lockers opening and closing, someone calling a friend's name from across the hall. It was just another normal college morning. At least that's what Maya wanted to believe. Then she heard footsteps approaching from behind. She didn't turn around. She didn't know that Ava Reynolds was walking toward her. Ava was 22, confident, popular, and used to being noticed. She had always been the kind of person who could walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention. But lately, something had changed. People had started talking about Maya. They talked about her accident. They talked about her recovery. They talked about how brave she was for returning to college. And Ava hated how much attention Maya received without even asking for it. Ava walked closer. Maya took another careful step, then another, and suddenly Ava deliberately shoved her sideways. Maya lost her balance. Her books flew from her hands, her crutches slipped away, and she fell to the floor. The hallway went silent. For one painful second, nobody moved. Maya looked around in shock, her eyes immediately filled with tears. She reached toward one of her crutches, then she heard laughter. Ava was laughing, not nervously, not accidentally. She was laughing because she thought Maya looked helpless. Ava looked down at her and said, "Come on, stand up." Maya froze. Ava smiled, "Take your revenge if you can." Then she laughed again. A few students pulled out their phones. Someone whispered. Someone else laughed quietly. Maya could feel every eye in the hallway on her. She wanted to disappear. She wanted the floor to open beneath her. But more than anything, she wanted to go back to the day before the accident, a day when she could run. A day when she could walk without thinking about every step. A day when nobody looked at her differently. She reached for her crutch. Her hand was shaking, but before she could pick it up, someone stepped forward. It was Ethan Brooks. He had been standing near the lockers. He looked at Ava and said, "Hey, that's enough." Ava rolled her eyes. "Relax, it was a joke." Ethan looked at the books scattered across the floor. "That wasn't a joke," Ava shrugged. Then she walked away, still laughing. Ethan crouched down and began gathering Maya's books. He handed her the first one, then another. Finally, he picked up her notebook. "Are you okay?" he asked. Maya tried to smile. "I've been worse." Ethan looked at her. "You shouldn't have to be." Maya didn't know what to say. She simply took her notebook. "Thank you." Ethan noticed something written on the cover, 3 simple words. "Start again," he smiled. "What does that mean?" Maya looked at the notebook. "It's a reminder." "A reminder of what?" Maya took a breath. "That I can start again." Then she slowly pushed herself up. She picked up her crutches. And even though her legs were trembling, she kept walking. But what nobody in that hallway knew was that Maya had already survived something much harder than humiliation. 6 months earlier, Maya had been completely different. She was energetic, independent, always moving. She ran across campus when she was late. She climbed stairs without thinking. She played basketball with her friends. She volunteered at the university. She was the person everyone called when they needed help. If someone had told her that one day she would struggle just to walk across a hallway, she would never have believed them. Then came the rainy night that changed everything. Maya had stayed late at the library. She had an exam the next morning. She was tired, but she was happy. She remembered thinking about graduation. She remembered thinking about what her life would look like after college. She had plans, so many plans, but on the drive home, another vehicle lost control on the wet road. The accident happened in seconds. And Maya's life changed in those seconds. When she woke up in the hospital, she didn't understand what had happened. Her mother was sitting beside her bed. Her eyes were red from crying. Maya looked around the room. Then she looked down. She knew something was wrong. "What happened?" she whispered. Her mother reached for her hand. "You're safe." Maya stared at her. "Mom, what happened?" Her mother couldn't answer immediately. She squeezed Maya's hand. "There was an accident." Maya's heart began beating faster. "Can I walk?" Her mother looked away. That was all Maya needed to know. She started crying, not because she understood everything, but because she suddenly understood that something had been taken from her. The following weeks were difficult. Physical therapy became part of her daily life. Every small movement required effort. Things that had once been automatic now felt like challenges. Standing, balancing, taking a few steps. Sometimes Maya would make progress, sometimes she wouldn't. And on the days when she didn't, she would sit alone and wonder whether her old life was gone forever. One afternoon, after a difficult therapy session, Maya looked into a mirror. She was exhausted. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were swollen from crying. She didn't recognize the person staring back at her. "I don't know who I am anymore," she whispered. Her mother stood behind her. "You're still Maya." Maya shook her head. "But I can't do the things I used to do." Her mother came closer. "Maybe your life isn't ending." Maya looked at her through the mirror. "Maybe it's changing." Maya didn't believe her, not yet, but that night she opened a notebook. She wrote 3 words on the cover: "Start again." Then she wrote one sentence inside: "I will walk back into that college." She stared at those words for a long time, then she added another sentence: "Not because I'm ready," she wiped away a tear, "but because I'm not going to let fear choose my life." That became her promise. Weeks passed. Maya worked harder. She learned patience. She learned that progress wasn't always dramatic. Sometimes progress was simply getting out of bed. Sometimes it was taking one more step. Sometimes it was falling apart at night and still showing up the next morning. Eventually, the day came when Maya returned to college. She stood outside the building for several minutes. She could hear students talking inside. She could see people walking past the doors. Her heart was racing. She almost turned around. Then she remembered the notebook: "Start again." So she walked inside, slowly, one step at a time. The first few days were difficult. People stared. Some people whispered. Some looked away when she noticed them. Others smiled politely because they didn't know what to say. Maya understood. She didn't need everyone to understand her. She only needed herself to keep going. Then Ava noticed her. At first, Ava didn't know Maya personally. She only knew the story, the accident, the recovery. The girl who had returned to college using crutches. And somehow, Maya had become the person everyone admired. Professors praised her determination. Students called her inspirational. People asked how she was doing. And every time Maya walked into a room, people noticed. Ava couldn't understand why. She had always been the person everyone noticed, but now people were looking at Maya. Ava didn't ask herself why Maya deserved attention. She only asked herself why she wasn't getting it. That was where everything started to go wrong. One afternoon in the cafeteria, Ava passed Maya. She looked at her crutches. Then she smiled. Still using those, Maya looked down. For now, Ava tilted her head. "Must be nice." Maya frowned. "What do you mean?" Ava smiled. "Everyone treats you like you're some kind of hero now." Maya didn't answer. Ava walked away, but her words stayed with Maya. That evening, Maya sat alone in her room. She opened her notebook. She stared at the words: "Start again." Then she closed it. She didn't want pity. She didn't want attention. She didn't want people to call her brave. She simply wanted to be Maya again, but perhaps she wasn't supposed to become the old Maya. Perhaps she was supposed to become someone new. Around that time, Ethan became one of her closest friends. He never treated her differently. He didn't constantly ask if she needed help. He didn't stare at her crutches. He simply talked to her. One afternoon, Ethan saw the notebook. "Start again." Maya smiled. "It's a reminder of what? That I don't have to go back to who I was." Ethan looked confused. Maya continued, "I just have to become someone I'm proud of." Ethan smiled. "You already are." Maya looked away. She didn't want him to see the tears in her eyes, but Ethan didn't say anything. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is simply stay beside them without forcing them to talk. Maya had another secret. Something almost nobody knew. Before her accident, she had started creating a student support project. She called it Second Step. The idea was simple. She wanted to help students who were going through difficult changes, students recovering from injuries, students dealing with grief, students facing financial problems, students who felt like they didn't belong. Maya wanted them to have a place where they could talk without being judged. After the accident, she almost abandoned the idea. Then she realized something. Maybe she understood those students better now than she ever could before. So she started working on it again, quietly, without telling anyone. She spent evenings writing resources. She contacted professors. She created support groups. She helped students find campus services. She didn't want praise. She simply wanted people to know they weren't alone. And then came the morning when Ava pushed her. The video spread across campus within hours. Students shared it. People commented. Some laughed. Some were angry. Some defended Maya. And some finally realized something uncomfortable. They had been watching Maya struggle without ever asking what she had been fighting through. That evening, Maya sat alone in her room. Her phone kept vibrating. She turned it off. Her mother entered quietly. "Do you want to talk?" Maya shook her head. "I'm tired." Her mother sat beside her. Maya looked at the floor. "I don't want to be the girl everyone feels sorry for." Her mother stayed silent. Maya continued, "I don't want pity." Her mother looked at her. "Then don't give them pity." Maya looked confused. Her mother smiled. "Give them the truth." Maya thought about that sentence all night. The next morning she returned to campus. The hallway became quiet when she entered. Students looked at her. Some looked embarrassed, some looked away, some lowered their phones. Maya stopped for a moment. She could have turned around. She could have gone home. Instead, she took one step, then another, tap, step. She kept walking. Meanwhile, Ava was sitting in Professor Reed's office. She expected punishment, maybe suspension, maybe a formal warning. Professor Reed placed a folder on the desk. Do you know who created the second step program? Ava shook her head. No. Professor Reed looked at her. Maya. Ava's expression changed. Professor Reed continued. She spent months creating support resources for students dealing with difficult circumstances. Ava stared at the folder. I didn't know. Professor Reed looked at her. That is the problem. Ava lowered her eyes. Then Professor Reed said something she wasn't expecting. The university has decided to officially launch Maya's program. Ava looked up, and they want you to help lead the student outreach team. Ava stared at him. Me, yes. Ava couldn't understand. After what I did, Professor Reed nodded. She recommended you. Ava's face changed completely. She did, yes. Ava looked down. Why? Professor Reed answered quietly. You should ask her. Ava found Maya outside the library. She stood there for several seconds before approaching. Maya. Maya turned around. Ava looked nervous. For the first time, Maya saw something different in her face. There was no confidence, no smirk, no audience, just guilt. I don't have an excuse, Ava said. Maya stayed silent. I hurt you because I was jealous. Maya looked at her. Ava continued. Everyone admired your strength, and I couldn't understand why. She wiped away a tear. So I tried to make you feel small. Maya took a slow breath. You did. Ava nodded. I know. Then she asked the question that had been bothering her. Why did you recommend me for your program? Maya looked at her for several seconds. Then she said, because I know what it's like to be lost. Ava looked confused. You think I don't see what's behind your behavior? Ava didn't answer. Maya continued. You were trying so hard to look strong, she paused, that you forgot you were hurting too. Ava's eyes filled with tears. She looked down. And for the first time, she admitted something she had never told anyone. My parents are getting divorced. Maya listened. Ava continued. Everything at home feels out of control. She wiped her face. And at college, I thought if I wasn't the strongest person in the room, nobody would care about me. Maya didn't interrupt. Ava looked at her. So when everyone started admiring you, she shook her head. I hated you for it. Maya's expression softened, not because what Ava had done was okay. It wasn't, but because Maya understood something. Pain doesn't excuse cruelty, but sometimes pain explains where cruelty begins. Maya didn't forgive Ava immediately. Forgiveness isn't a switch. It doesn't happen because someone says sorry. It happens slowly, through actions, through change, through accountability. Maya told Ava something she would never forget. I don't need you to feel sorry for me. Ava nodded. I need you to never make someone else feel the way you made me feel. Ava looked at her. I won't. Weeks passed. Maya's second step program officially launched. The first meeting had only 7 students, then 12, then 30. Students came with different stories. Some were recovering from injuries. Some were struggling after losing someone they loved. Some were dealing with financial problems. Some were simply lonely. Maya listened to every one of them. She didn't promise to fix their lives. She didn't pretend to have all the answers. She simply reminded them of something she had learned herself. Struggling doesn't make you weak. Ava became part of the program too, not because Maya forgot what happened, but because Ava worked every day to become someone different. She stopped laughing when people struggled. She started listening. She started helping. She started asking questions before making judgments. One afternoon, Ava saw another student struggling with a heavy bag. She walked over. Do you need help? The student nodded. Ava helped carry the bag. Maya watched from across the room. Ava noticed her. Maya smiled just once, and Ava understood. That smile wasn't permission to forget. It was proof that change was possible. Months passed. Maya's recovery continued. She still used crutches, but she wasn't ashamed of them anymore. One afternoon, she walked across the same hallway where Ava had pushed her. Tap, step, the same floor, the same lockers. The same place, but Maya was different. She stopped beside the spot where her books had once fallen. She looked down. For a moment, she remembered everything. The shove, the laughter, the phones, the humiliation, the tears. Then she smiled. Ethan walked beside her. You okay? Maya nodded. Yeah. She looked forward. I think I'm finally ready to stop remembering this place for what happened to me. She took another step. And start remembering it for what I survived. Ethan smiled. You know something? Maya looked at him. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. Maya smiled. No. She looked down at her crutches. I think that's okay. They continued walking. Maya thought strength meant standing without help. She was wrong. Strength wasn't pretending nothing hurt. Strength wasn't hiding your tears. Strength wasn't getting revenge. Sometimes strength is falling and choosing to stand again. Sometimes strength is accepting help. Sometimes it's admitting you're afraid. Sometimes it's forgiving someone. And sometimes it's simply taking one more step. Maya never got revenge on Ava. She didn't need to. She did something far more powerful. She changed the story. The girl everyone thought was weak became the person who taught an entire campus what real strength looked like. And Ava learned something too. The easiest person to hurt might be carrying a story you know nothing about. So before you laugh at someone's struggle, before you judge someone for moving slower than you, before you decide that someone is weak, remember this. You may be looking at their hardest chapter while they are quietly writing their comeback. You may see someone struggling, but you don't know how hard they fought just to get there. You may see someone crying, but you don't know how many times they already picked themselves back up. And sometimes, the person you tried to break becomes the reason someone else learns how to heal. Maya stopped at the end of the hallway. She looked back one last time, then she looked forward. She tightened her grip on her crutches and whispered, "One step at a time." Then she kept walking. Because she had finally understood something. She didn't need to walk like everyone else. She didn't need to live like everyone else. She didn't need to prove that she was strong. She simply needed to keep moving. And that was enough. If this story touched your heart, remember Maya's lesson. Never judge someone by the part of their story you can see, because you never know what they survived before they reached you. Be kind, be patient. And when someone is struggling, don't laugh, don't judge, just help them take their next step. Like, subscribe to Shelby Cinematic Stories and spread kindness. Because some stories end when the credits roll, but some stories stay with you forever.